Warm greetings from the high 10. It's Everyday Shenanigans. Thanks for joining me. Several subjects discussed. The Buffalo shooter, Uvalde update pertaining to the shooter's phone being seized for evidence, text messages, said information, data, and the victims ID'd from the fugitive that was on the run. He killed a family, a grandfather and his grandsons. I'm going to bring you this information. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. If you'd like to donate to the channel, the network, the dream, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you all so much for joining me. We'll go ahead and get started.
Everyone, thanks for joining us for News 4.
Everyday Shenanigans linked to device LGLMQ710FGN is now connected. Loading.
25 criminal charges. News 4's Marley Tuskus is live with reaction from the Erie County District Attorney. Marley.
David Jordan, Erie County District Attorney John Flynn says we've all heard the phrase throwing the book at someone. Well, he says in this case the defendant is getting war and peace. The 18-year-old suspected gunman, Peyton Gendron, was arraigned today on a 25-count indictment that includes 10 charges of murder in the first degree. Flynn says he could have only charged one count in the murder of the first degree. It would have resulted in the same conviction, but he says he wanted all 10 of the victims' names to be listed so they can each get their justice. The suspect was also charged with one count of domestic act of terrorism motivated by hate in the first degree.
The highest charge is domestic act of terrorism motivated by hate in the first degree.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me, Monique. Hi, baby.
This is a relatively new charge in New York State.
Happy Saturday.
It's only been on the books since November 1st of 2020. It is the first time in the history of New York State that this domestic terrorism charge motivated by hate in the first degree has been filed.
Flynn could not get into details of evidence that he has for this charge, but he says his office must prove that 5 or more people were murdered with intent, that it was racially motivated, and if convicted, the alleged gunman would be sentenced to life without parole. He will be back in court on July 7th for additional proceedings. Flynn says that there is mounting evidence in this case that they will be going over in the next month or so. We'll have more details on this case coming up at 5 and 6. For now, reporting live in downtown Buffalo, Marley Tuskus, News 4.
All right.
Next in 5 foreigners, Eileen has destroyed her home on
Thank you all so much for joining me.
advertisement 29 seconds for.
Hope you all are well out there. Thank you for joining me. Okay. That's pertaining to Buffalo. Next is Texas Rangers given authority to seize download contents of Uvalde shooting suspect's cell phone.
Also tonight, breaking news in the state investigation into the Uvalde school shooting. KHOU 11 investigates obtained the first search warrant returned in Uvalde.
It was executed by the Texas Rangers, and in it we learn more about the evidence collected at the scene. Investigative reporter Jeremy Rogowski is live at Robb Elementary tonight with the update. Jeremy?
Yeah, here is that search warrant, guys, giving the Rangers authority to seize and download the contents of the cell phone belonging to alleged gunman Salvador Ramos.
The search warrant describes how 2 witnesses observed the suspected teenage gunman dressed completely in black outside Robb Elementary, who proceeded to load a long rifle with a magazine and fire multiple gunshots in their direction before approaching the school and shooting towards the building. When law enforcement ultimately made their way in, they discovered multiple casualties throughout the hallways and classrooms before exchanging gunfire with Ramos and shooting him dead. An iPhone 13 Pro Max was found next to his body. Investigators performed a forensic download of the device to search for any and all data on the phone, from text messages to photos, videos, and voice messages that may provide clues to the shooter's motive for the horrific crime.
We should mention there was a glaring mistake in the search warrant paperwork. The Texas Ranger who filed it included a paragraph that appeared to be cut and pasted from a different warrant, naming a completely different suspect in a completely different case, a human smuggling case. It's just one more item added to the growing list of issues in this ongoing investigation. Lennon Reka.
Yeah, causing even more frustration for the families of these victims. Wow.
All right, Jeremy, thank you for that new information. Also new.
Up next in 5.
All right, everybody.
Ran into school during Uvalde.
So we are hearing this morning from a mother who ran inside the school.
I'm going to pause there to give my commentary. See, I don't know what's really going on with this case. Just the discrepancies of approaching the gunman, interaction with the gunman in the school hallway. As I said, door open, propped open, information about a teacher, evidence on a camera of her saying she propped it open, closed the door, all of that. Now we have someone who's filing the paperwork, putting a different person's name on the paperwork. That's not even the suspect. What the hell is wrong with these people in Texas? I'm trying to understand. Do you all did you even care? Did anybody care about these kids and the teachers? Because it's just getting ridiculous to now have an affidavit with somebody who's not even near the scene of what was going on in Texas, who's filing paperwork of what allegedly happened, and they can't even get that right. The one could say, oh, it's just a mistake. Yeah, it's a hell of a mistake to be putting somebody else's name on another crime that they didn't commit. I don't know. What's on the cell phone? On the iPhone 13. Wasn't doing too well financially, they say, but he had an iPhone. You know, I don't keep up with iPhones and the numbers, but the point is, he had an iPhone. He had enough money to buy heavy artillery, but he wouldn't buy clothes, shoes. Allegedly, he was poor, sleeping on a mattress, allegedly, but yet he has money to buy artillery, a decent cell phone. Somebody's paying the bill, maybe the grandmother. Allegedly, that's what they were arguing over, was the cell phone. Maybe she knew and saw some things at the last minute. What were they arguing about? What was he and the grandmother arguing about pertaining to the phone? Did she want to stop service? What? What's on the cell phone? Apps. Engagement through social media apps such as TikTok, Facebook, IG. Who was he talking to? How many people has he contacted to say what was going on in his life, what he was mad about, angry about, and what his plans were? Sadly, that girl didn't know anything about where he was, because I don't know if he had his location on his IG account, for her to call local authorities to say, hey, I'm talking to this guy on the internet. He sent me a message that he's going to go shoot up a school, blah, blah, blah. I think you need to check him out. Would they've been able to get to the school in time had she sent in information, had she known of his whereabouts? Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. This is just more baffling information. Texas has a lot of crime, just like a lot of places. But as of late, they've had so much crime with human trafficking, women missing out of Houston, Dallas, just a lot of buffoonery. Now you've got kids shooting up schools, shooting their grandmother. Just wicked. Fugitive, apprehended, killed, but sadly has killed 5 people, grandfather and his grandsons. I'm going to bring you that content here in a minute. This is just crazy, crazy nonsense. Who was Ramos talking to? How many people has he contacted before the shooting at the school? How many people knew of the shooting? How many people did not call in if they knew anything? And why would you not call in? But is that what we do now? We let people rant, rave, fuss, cuss. I'm going to shoot my landlord. I'm going to kill the person across the street. And we do nothing. We don't say nothing. We don't call the police. We just say, oh, he's having a bad day. Oh, she's just angry. That's how she do. That's how he does. We'll just ignore it. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it. Well, as you see, all these people have talked to somebody, rant and raved on social media, and now they've killed people. So testifying after the fact is a little bit too late. What will they find on the cell phone? What will they find at the grandmother's house? Was he sleeping on the floor at the grandmother's house? Was he not getting along with the grandmother, grandfather? How long was he actually living there? What was the real reason for him staying with her? Why was he not in school? Why didn't she mandate he attend school? Hey, you either stay at this house and go to school, or you can't stay here. How about that? I don't know what's going on with you and your mom, but it ain't going to go on here. I'm going to treat you with respect and dignity, but you got to go to school. So nobody laying up in this house and don't go to school. So the weird part about this story is that he had a job, but yet he didn't go to school. You see, had he finished school, maybe we wouldn't be talking about this story. Had somebody stayed on him and said, you got to go to school, get your part-time job, go get your trade, go to college, do something. 2-year school, something. We wouldn't be talking about itty bitty spiders deceased and teachers deceased. Had somebody stayed on him and told him, it's this way or the highway. See, this is the reason why we have a lot of wayward children and teenagers, is because some of you are scared to talk to your children. You're scared to tell your children that you are the head knocker of the house. You are the ringleader of your house. You are afraid of your own damn children, grandchildren, children you're taking care of. The day you become afraid of your own child, it is time to have your child removed from your house. That's just cut simple. Why are you going to be in a house where you're afraid of your own damn kid? The day your child decides she raises his hand at you, it's time for your child to be removed from your house. The day they decide to tear up the house, vandalize the house, shoot at the house, shoot in the house, shoot at the door, whatsoever, it's time for your child to get the hell out your house. Nobody should have to tell you that, because you're now dealing with a time bomb. It's only a matter of time they'll do something else. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I was angry. Sorry, you can't stay here. You call the necessary people to get your child removed. When they're 18, you don't have to call anybody because they're now a legal adult. Excuse me, sir, ma'am, you can't stay here. And if you fear for your safety, you call 911 to have him or her removed by law officials, as to not be shot in the face. So now you have to ask yourself, he shot her over a cell phone conversation with AT&T? Is that what I'm hearing? I think it's deeper than that, and I think most of you know this. This child was troubled, and he's possibly been troubled a very long time. Problems at home with his mother. Allegedly, there was drug addiction in the family. They did not name whom. We do not know how he was raised as an infant up until 18. We do not know what he's seen and heard as a child, but it's still no excuse to go out here and murder children and teachers and shoot at random citizens in the community. There is no excuse. We all get upset. Hell, I had a bad day at the gas station. He can't get the pump right, the discount right. Hell yeah, I want my 3 cents off. Paying almost $5 a gallon for gas, you're damn right. I want all my 3 cents off my damn gallon. But I'm not getting ready to shoot everybody at the gas station. 1, I don't have a gun. 2, I ain't got that kind of time, and I ain't about to go to penitentiary. And I ain't gonna get the death penalty for killing folks at the damn gas station. Do you follow me? Everybody has bad days. People have problems paying their bills now. This is what this child needed to understand. See, he hadn't had a full life to understand what life's all about. He hasn't paid a mortgage. He hasn't paid gas for the house to heat water. Yes, he didn't know that. Some places you have to pay gas to heat the damn water, to have water, hot water in your house. Electric. Okay. Yes, electricity. Car notes, car insurance. Car insurance has gone up. Maintenance for your cars. You got to buy food, toiletries, toilet paper, detergent. See, this child hasn't realized what life is all about. I'm not saying he's had an easy road, by no means, but he is not the only one who has suffered. There are many children who are suffering in horrible conditions in their homes, and they get up every day and put a smile on their face and go to school and pretend. And he had an advantage. He had enough sense to go get a damn job and he didn't follow through by getting a job and making provisions to get the hell out of his grandmother's house. Many children have enough sense to say, I'm going to go get a job to better my circumstances so I can get the hell out of this situation and make a better way for myself. The time he spent being angry, he could have went and applied for school somewhere and or a better paying job and got money, saved his money, and got out of his grandmother's house and lived happily ever after. But instead, he wanted to be angry over stupid stuff. And if it was so bad, he should have left his grandmother's house. Because I'm trying to understand, how are you sitting in a restaurant with her eating Applebee's on your birthday to going in a schoolhouse shooting up kids a week or two later? You were good enough to eat the food she bought, but then shoot her in the face and then go shoot up some kids and teachers. And now everybody's arguing over who's on first and who's on second. Sorry about that. This is crazy to me. Utter nonsense and crazy to me. You've got to learn how to cope. That's what life is all about. There are going to be horrible days. There are going to be people that's going to mistreat you. He hasn't even seen how horrible man and woman can be. He is an example of what I'm talking about. How vicious people are. He became exactly the lesson he would have learned had he kept living. That there are vile people out here who are angry, mad, bitter, and they will take their problems out on you. You can't trust anybody. Friend, foe, family, neighbor, lover, ex-lover, wife, ex-wife, ex-husband, new boyfriend, old friend, co-worker. Nobody is exempt from harming you. That's what he needed to understand. And he took the easy way out by killing those innocent people, children. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. All right. I brought you information about the Buffalo shooter. He's facing 25 counts. Excuse me for saying 45 the other day. This information is by KHOU 11 about the Texas Rangers seizing his phone, getting information pertaining to this shooter. We will find out what was on the phone, evidence, apps, who he's been talking to, who sat by idly and didn't report him to law officials. I'm praying that nobody has conversed with him, amped him up, and went along with it. The allegations about the girlfriend, I don't have any information about that. But if that is true, because I've heard this on Banfield, that there was a girlfriend who said she would finish what he started, well, sweetheart, you go right ahead and you'll possibly end up like your boyfriend. If this allegation is true, you'll lay dead somewhere your damn self. And that sounds foolish talk for a female to even talk about finishing what he started. And the baffling part about that commentary is this. If indeed he had a girlfriend, why didn't he live for her? Why not keep working, get a better job, go to school, and date this girl, and you two go off in the sunset somewhere? So life was so horrible that you had a girlfriend allegedly, but it led you to shoot your grandmother in the face and then go on a shooting spree in the town, shooting up an elementary school and shooting at people at a funeral home. Am I hearing this correctly? This is nonsense to me. This boy had a chance to better himself, and he chose not to. That was his damn choice. There's nobody else's choice but his, because he shows he had a functioning mind to do better, to be better. He chose not to. That was his choice. Sadly, these children and teachers paid the price. My next commentary is pertaining to, oh, Lordy, Texas Fugitive. News Nation is the source. Unimaginable grief ahead pertaining to the Texas victims. Hold on 1 second. This thing jumps off so quick.
Few suggestions.
So we are hearing this morning from a mother who ran
Everyday Shenanigans linked to device LGLM2710SGN is not connected.
Sorry about that.
Killed in a horrific murder at their cabin in Texas. Authorities believe the man responsible is fugitive Gonzalo Lopez, who escaped from custody and was on the run for 21 days. Authorities killed him in a shootout last night. And now two communities are grieving, one in Centerville, the other in Houston, where this family was from. Andy Kahn is the Director of Victim Services at Houston Crime Stoppers and is joining us tonight. Andy, it was shocking to hear this news last night. What more can you tell us about this family that's hurting?
I can tell you, I've been dealing with homicide survivors now for over 30 years as a victim advocate and a board member of Parents Murder Children and Surviving Family Members Homicide. Just when you think you've seen it all, you haven't. This is unimaginable grief. You had a grandfather, you had 4 grandsons, ranging from 11 years old, 2 of them, 16 to 18. The 18-year-old had just graduated high school. I cannot even fathom what must be going through this family's mind right now. This is just unimaginable grief, pain, and agony. And then, of course, to find out that the person who is responsible for this is a violent, psychopathic murderer who, quite frankly, should have never, ever been in the situation that allowed him to basically wipe out an entire family.
It is pure evil, Andy. Did this family have any idea of the manhunt that had been happening in that area and the status of the search for this convicted murderer who was still on the run?
You know, that's a valid question and a good question. Obviously, everybody around Centerville was aware of it, but this was kind of like a weekend summer home for the family. So I can't unequivocally tell you that they knew there was a manhunt, but you're going on 3 weeks now. So the question that, well, hopefully we'll get answers from is, why was families allowed to come and go? Should there have been some sort of, let's say, lockdown saying, look, this is not in your best interest to even come up here, even though you have a ranch home for the weekend until we get this case disposed of. So I don't know if we'll ever get answers to that, but obviously we saw what happened when they did stumble upon the Lopez, who is a convicted capital murderer, also attempted capital murder, well-known cartel member, and so forth. You had someone who had absolutely nothing to lose, that was loose in the community, and he took out 5 lives.
Andy, talk about the public's role in these types of manhunts. When you have a dangerous criminal who is on the loose, a fugitive, the role the public plays not only in keeping a lookout for this person, but also in taking measures to protect themselves and make smart decisions when they know they're in an area where someone like this is on the run. And then I will add to that law enforcement's responsibility to alert them and continue to inform them.
You know, the public is our best eyes and ears out there. And at Crime Stoppers, we broadcast these cases routinely out to the public, and we ask for the public's help because the public knows more, quite frankly, than what investigators know because they're in the area itself. So we look for the public to help us. And obviously there was an up to a $50,000 reward in this, but in a very small community like Centerville, which basically only has maybe, you know, not even a couple thousand residents, I'm sure everybody in that town was on edge and on the lookout. This is basically a town where you didn't lock your doors. So I'm thinking for the last 3 weeks, everybody was on edge, wondering where this guy was, what happened to him, if he's still in the community, is he alive or dead? So it put a lot of people at a lot of unease having to live up there.
Well, we were just showing video, Andy, of him right after the escape. Bystanders were able to film him running off into the field. No authorities at that point gave chase, so you wonder if that was another misstep and an opportunity to try to take this man out before he killed innocent victims. Before I let you go, Andy, in addition to tracking down the bad guys, you also do a lot of support for families. How are you planning to support this family right now in their time of need, and what can folks at home do to understand this immense, immeasurable grief that they're going through?
You know, there's been overwhelming support, not just locally, not just statewide, not even just nationally, but internationally. I mean, it's been very cathartic for the family to realize how many people truly love this family. There's a vigil going on right now at high school where 2 of the boys attended and 2 of them would have eventually attended the high school right now. But We do have a GoFundMe page set up and I'll send that to you because actually there was other GoFundMe pages that were set up. We didn't know how legitimate or not legitimate they are because, quite frankly, there are people that will take advantage of situations. But we do have the family set up with a legitimate one. If people do want to make a financial donation, it's set up to go. But right now, they really need everybody's prayers, and they really need everybody just to give them a vicarious hug.
Well, please do that from afar for me tonight, Andy, to the Collins family who lost Mark, Waylon, Carson, Bryson, and Hudson. Andy Kahn with Crime Stoppers of Houston. They're going to need all the support they can get. We appreciate you coming on tonight and sharing your story.
Yeah, this is the beginning of a very long, arduous journey for this family. We appreciate all your help.
God bless. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
News Nation, second source. Thank you.
Imagine you could
Advertisement 1
Sorry about that.
59 seconds.
Got to get their money.
Skip ad button.
It could have happened to any of us.
Suggestions, row, recommended for you, row.
Here are their names: Mark, Waylon, Carson, Hudson, and Bryson. A grandfather and all of his grandsons. Just take a look at that list and realize what that monster did, wiping out 5 members of the same family. Hudson Collins and Bryson Collins on the bottom, you'll see they're both 11 years old. They're actually cousins. The others are brothers, Waylon, Carson, and Hudson. And Mark, of course, is their grandfather. Who knows if they'd have taken that trip had they known that a dangerous killer could be lurking somewhere in those woods near their home. I want to bring in 3 other people who know a lot about this particular case and how manhunts are supposed to be handled. Melanie and Robert Tieperman live just a mile or so from where this happened. Melanie and her son actually witnessed the moment that escapee got away, and they caught it on camera. And Ron Licardi is a retired NYPD police detective and the host of the podcast Crime Time. Welcome to all 3 of you. Melanie, we talked last night as this was all unfolding, and he had not been shot dead yet, so the fear was that he was still out there. And now the story 24 hours later has changed so drastically. I just want to get your reaction to the fact that they were able to find him and kill him, and yet your community has to live with what he did.
Yeah, it is relief that knowing that he is not lurking in the woods anymore. But it's still heartbreaking to know that the warning that we got that he was fully capable of doing this sort of thing and had no value for human life is so accurate that he didn't hesitate to kill innocent kids. And it could have been any of us. It could have happened to any of us here.
And that's the tragedy. The Collins family was just, all within this vicinity. These are your neighbors, albeit it's a weekend home. But the Collins family from Houston could have had a phone call from police saying it might not be a good place to visit. We are searching for this inmate, and it is right within the 5-mile radius where your weekend home is. Instead, that grandfather brought all 4 of his grandsons up to that cabin, presumably to spend a wonderful weekend with them, maybe even fishing in the lake that's close by. Robert, I can only imagine not only the sadness, but just the anger and the resentment that you all weren't given any warnings.
Yeah, you're right. And it's one thing that just not us, but our whole county and community around here is very frustrated when we hear yesterday that there was evidence found in a house in Uvalde on Monday, and they were sending it off to see if the DNA matched him. And, they could have easily let everyone in the area know, hey, be back on high alert, because he may be back in the area or he may still be here. And no one heard anything. And I know that if the Collins family knew that the house within, I believe, a couple thousand feet of theirs had this happen. They found this evidence from there. There is no way, absolutely no way, they would have been up there at this house.
That is so inexcusable hearing that. Can you expand on that a little more? Do you know what the evidence was?
As you see, the community is gated. The house is gated.
About 1,000 feet away from the Collins family.
Very
home?
strange. Lord of mercy.
Yeah, what we're hearing and fairly direct is that in the house they went into, that it was broke into. They've said that there's money was missing, and actually, stepping back, we had heard that the family is another weekend home, and they had noticed the electric bill was running high, or the on their meter online where they saw it. So they called someone to go in and check everything, and when they did, that's where they had saw that it had been broke into, money was missing, and a bucket was in the bathtub. So I guess they may have had the water turned off. And so he was getting water somehow and trying to wash himself with buckets of water. So
was there anything else? Were there anything in a garbage can? Any remnants of food? Anything else that might have been, like, anything that you can remember what they found in there, and especially what they were taking away to test?
Food, but we also heard that he was spotted on some cameras in camo. So I don't know if the camouflage came from another hunting cabin that he may have broken into, or the home that Robert's describing, where the food and money, and he evidently tried to wash himself in. I don't know. That's not something that we gained publicly. It wasn't a public announcement. It was through sources of friends of ours that are helping with this. So, luckily we kind of knew about it, but it was not something that was publicly known or given.
And the camo,
I mean, that should have been.
Yeah. And we were told the camo he had, the camo clothing was actually what they call a ghillie suit. And so anyone who hunts or any military person will know what a ghillie suit, and we have a ghillie suit here that we will use if we go hunting or deer hunting and stuff, or straight out in the woods. But a ghillie suit is a camo type suit that's has.
It looks hairy. It looks like it's a bush. You look like you're part of the trees. There's all sorts of things hanging off a ghillie suit. You almost look like a moving bush.
For hunting, I assume.
It's very frightening to think that he
Hunting
would have
suit.
been in that, because there'd been no way to spot him. He could have been right
Lord
beside your
have
house
mercy.
and you wouldn't know.
Absolutely.
Woo.
And on
What in the
Saturday, we
world?
had a graduation party for my daughter here, because we had 30 people here thinking, hey, we're good. Nothing to worry about. He's gone. And when that happened, it was the
You think of the possibilities, the what if.
and
Ron, I want you to jump in on this, because what Robert and Melanie are saying is that not only were they exposed to danger night in and night out for the last 3 weeks, but they brought kids over, a graduation party to their home, having absolutely no idea that this dangerous felon, this murderer, this pickaxe killer and family annihilator was lurking still within this 5-mile radius, that they had said, we're closing down this radius, we're expanding our search elsewhere. Ron, help me process this.
Ashley, I am equally as livid as the Tieperman family is here. As a retired law enforcement professional, the onus was on the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. The corrections officials had the
Judy Ron.
That's part of their job. They're supposed to keep the community safe. This perpetrator, Gonzalo Lopez, out in the public, he was, out for 3 weeks. Their responsibility is to notify the residents of Leon County, Centerville, hey, we have something that's not right. They had to be clear and transparent with this. And because they didn't, we have 5 innocent human beings, lives taken from them. So this is a travesty of justice, and it's a black eye for law enforcement, for corrections officials across the country, and in Texas for that matter.
Melanie and Robert, last question. Okay, so now the critical crisis with that man is over. He's dead. He cannot menace anyone else in your community or elsewhere. But I would imagine that you want some answers. Have you been told anything? Will there be a community meeting to let you guys know how this happened or where we go from here, or at least put your mind to rest about any other fugitives that are out there? Because by my count, there's 2 other Texas fugitives right now.
We, to my knowledge, we have had no news conferences today. I think the sheriff's office posted some stuff this morning on Facebook that he's been caught deceased. Kind of end the story. I think it's just like that. It's over.
It's pretty amazing though that if you really measure the, what do you call it, the headquarters for the search.
The search where the command center was set up once he escaped. The command center to the house where he murdered the Collins is 4,000 feet. So
unbelievable.
I mean,
unbelievable.
Wow.
You can only imagine if he was caught
feet.
on the deer cams or the trail cams in a ghillie suit, that it was likely he got that somewhere else, because there's very little time between the time that that family was seen alive yesterday morning to the time that they were seen dead. And clearly, if there were other houses that had been broken into in the last 3 weeks, he was going to need something other than the white jumpsuit that, thank you, Melanie,
right.
your son, caught on camera as he was running from the bus into the woods. He would have needed other clothes for those last 3 weeks. I share your pain, and I'm so sorry for your community having gone through this, and I'm just devastated for the Collins family. Melanie and Robert Tieferman and Ron McCarty, thank you all for being here tonight.
Can I add just one more thing before you close?
Sure thing.
We are the only civilian witnesses, her and her son, to Gonzalo Lopez escaping from that prison bus. They videotaped him. She saw him with her own 2 eyes. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice, no law enforcement professionals have reached out to Melanie Tieferman to get her statement. Nobody interviewed her. You would think right up front that is part of Investigation 101. Nobody even asked to speak to her.
And they saw her. They saw her because I heard them on tape when Melanie said, he's over there in the woods. The police answered, yeah, we know, thanks, we got it. So they knew that Melanie and her son were there. They knew that they went right by in the car. They knew you were there. That makes absolutely no sense to me. I think there will be more answers, and I hope there will be some answers about how he broke out of that prison bus in the first place with 2 guards, 1 in the back, watching all 16 inmates. Thank you all 3. Appreciate your time tonight. Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
Channel button.
All right. Let's chop it up. 64 of you, and thank you so much. Thank you all so much for your time on this wonderful Saturday. Hope you all are safe and well. Why didn't they interview this woman? Maybe she's with her child, Miss Tieferman. Why was she not interviewed thoroughly? Why is it now 3 weeks later, 5 people are dead? She's now on a national syndicated news program giving an interview with her husband. And as most of you know, which is to the right of me, which would be your left, is Mr. Duty Ron, who has a YouTube channel here on this network. This is very sickening. Why would you not talk to her? She's a witness. Why did y'all not advise the community to beware, to take heed? If you don't have an alarm on your house, get one. You see something strange, somebody lurking around, any cars vandalized, homes vandalized, anyone lurking, please notify us immediately. How many houses did he break into? Because now you're hearing that he had this suit on, which is what I would call mostly like a hunting suit you would wear, very warm in Texas, to be running around wearing a suit during the day, night, to camouflage into the element. Broke into a house, bucket in a bathtub. Where was he getting the water from? Was there a well nearby? So he was moving about, maybe not on the main roads, but he was moving about through the land. And that would be the safest way to move about as to not be detected and apprehended, is to move about on the land, which would be high grass. Still very dangerous because you don't know who has booby traps set up. Due to the fact that these people live out in barren land, they may have booby traps set up as to ward off burglars. And why didn't these houses have alarms? See, some people are very lax, assuming nobody will do anything to their house. Well, I'm far off. Nobody's going to come out here. Well, somebody did. See, this is what you all need to understand. It doesn't matter if you're living in a rural community or you're in the city limits of a small town, a big city. All bets are off because you are a target, whether you think so or not. And living somewhere far off, you're more of a target because there's nobody around, alarm or no alarm. Once you're surrounded, God forbid, more than one suspect machine, you are in trouble because you have to use logic of how long it would take for authorities to get to you in time before your home or whatever is bum rushed, broke into. Let's do a little research. 4,000 feet. Thank you for the donation. Thank you so much, sweetie. Let me check, see. Hold on. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Let's do a little knowledge. How far is 4,000 feet? Thank God for Google.
3.333 yards.
Okay, 4,000 feet. So basically, 4,000 feet is 0.758 miles. Lordy Jesus. Let me open this up. Thank you for joining me, you guys. Basically 7.5 miles or so. This is where the command post was. How many minutes is 7 miles?
According to Jerry, depending on your speed, 7 miles driving should take 6 to 16 minutes. However, several factors are at play that will change how long your drive takes: your speed, traffic, and construction zones.
So how long is 7 miles in walking? Four miles at a relaxed pace, hour and 20 minutes. Normal pace, 1 hour. 5 miles, 1 hour and 40 minutes. Relaxed, 1 hour and 15 minutes, normal pace. 6 miles, relaxed pace, 2 hours, 1 hour and 30 minutes. 7 miles of walking equals 2 hours and 20 minutes of a relaxed pace. And at a normal pace, 1 hour and 45 minutes. So let's say 1 hour and 45 minutes at a normal pace of walking. We won't say he did normal because that's, if you're walking in high grass, it's basically 2 hours and 20 minutes. So 2 hours and 20 minutes of this guy rummaging around the countryside looking for safety. That's what he did. Unless we hear of cars being broken into and stolen, he walked. Stay woke, everybody. Lord have mercy. But 7 miles of driving, 6 to 16 minutes by car. So we know he didn't have a car. So you're talking about 2 hours at least, just walking around trying to find a place to take refuge. The command center to somebody's house. This is bad. How many houses has he broken into? What all did he steal? We did hear the money was stolen out of one of the houses, a bucket in a bathtub. He had to change his clothes, underwear, undergarments, socks, shoes. He had to eat. Was there food in the houses where he broke into? The last house where the victims were? How did that happen? How did it lay out? Did he kill them the day that they arrived to the house? Allegedly, this was a weekend home. So one would have to wonder, did he kill them once they came into the house? Am I to believe that he was already in the house when the grandfather arrived with the children? Lord have mercy. He killed them. So if he shot them, let's say, that means he had to have had artillery. But we do know there was a shootout at the end between he and law officials. So that means he had a gun, and 9 times out of 10, that is what he used to kill the victims. So imagine, which I don't want to, killing these people who are just going about their day doing them, going to a weekend home to enjoy themselves, relax, R&R. Who knew that they were going to their deaths, excuse me. So how long was he inside of this home? How did he get in? Because as you see on this video I showed you, it's gated off. There's a wrought iron gate in the middle, and the rest is wooden fencing. So did he just happen upon it, walking through the woods? So there was nobody around. Hell, maybe didn't even care. Did he have a gun or artillery on him when he got to the house? Did he arrive at this said man's house with artillery already on his persons? This is jacked up. You can't trust no one. Please understand this. You are a target so long as you are breathing. In your home, outside your home, pumping gas, going to the store, grocery store, schoolhouse, church, work, you are safe nowhere. And we take for granted walking out the door to just do whatever. Going to get gas. Oops, gotta go get some ice cream. Oh, gotta go pay a bill. Oh, gotta go pay my phone bill. Oh, I'm gonna go to the mall. I'm gonna go to church Sunday. Oh, gotta put the kids on the school bus. All bets are off when you're dealing with a dirty machine. People are out here just savages, roaming the earth looking for a victim, plural. And God forbid you cross his or her path. Beautiful children, handsome boys, gone, snuffed out. Granddaddy, gone. Because this man, 9 times out of 10, was already probably in that house. I don't have all the details. I'm just speculating at the moment. But either way, whether he was already in the home or came across the house, it's still jacked up. It's jacked up no matter the circumstances. Texas has been... I've reported quite a few stories in the past 2 months or so, and a few have come out of Texas.
Charging screensaver.
Women missing, children left behind in deplorable conditions in an apartment with a dead corpse that lied there for 11 months. That's Texas. I've talked about 2 or 3 different missing women out of Texas. One still missing, Miss Felicia Johnson. One girl who's on IG killed in her townhome by a deranged killer out of Florida. Children left the sold apartment with a dead corpse of their brother, Texas. Schoolhouse shooting, Texas. Fugitive on the run, now 5 victims, Texas. Little boy killed a year ago by an African-American 18-year-old child who took him out of his bed, Texas. Texas is a big state. So naturally, the bigger the state, the bigger the problems. Smaller the state, usually don't have a lot of crime because the areas are spread out. They don't have metropolitan cities, and everyone knows that the more population you have, you're going to have more crime, more mayhem and mischief. That's just common sense. But it's not to say that in a smaller demographic that you can't have something go bump in the night, such as this crime here. Small rural area, 5 people dead. You can't even make it make sense. Because you see, you don't know people. Keep saying this. You can't assume that Trouble won't find its way to you. Murder won't find its way to you. An assault won't find its way to you. So long as you're breathing, you are susceptible to being injured, hurt, or murdered. And these are some gorgeous boys. Handsome grandfather, gone. Now somebody's got to bury their kids. And a grandfather. Bad enough, those children have to be buried out in Texas, Uvalde. Now, 5 more people have to be laid to rest. Big business for a funeral home, although Uvalde is free of charge, but nonetheless, anywhere else, if it wasn't free, somebody's got to pay the due bill. Just imagine that burden of having to lay down 4 or 5 people, God forbid your own kids. What kind of world are we in? This world is cruel. And just when you think you've heard it all, shooting in Buffalo, shooting in the subway, shooting in DC, over here, over there. You don't even get time to catch your breath from one story. Here comes a notification. Oops, somebody shot somebody over here. Somebody did something over here. Oops. Don't leave out Tulsa. Somebody's mad. They got back pain. Oh, got to go find a doctor. He did it. He's the reason I'm in pain. Shoot everybody in the office. I don't give a damn. I don't care if you work here, you're a patient. You're going to leave here. That's the attitude. Woe is me. I'm the only one on the earth with a damn problem. My life is jacked up, messed up. Nobody cares about me. Nobody loves me. It's just me against the world. It's an effed up attitude to have because many people have problem situations. A lot of problems we have are things that we have put ourselves into, things we have exacerbated by making wrong decisions, wrong choices, picking the wrong kind of people to be involved with, and the trouble came along with dealing with these savages. Maybe we meant well. We were forgiving more than once. And now we're jacked up in a hospital bed with tubes in our nose, throat, comatose, paralyzed, or dead because we fooled with the wrong kind of people. That's a hell of a price to pay, is it not? You married the wrong man. You married the wrong woman. You're too kind to your wayward children. They decide to snuff you out. You argued too many times with your neighbor. He didn't like what you said. You didn't like what he said, so he waited on you, or he just walked up to you in cold blood and shot you. Bullied in school. I want payback now. Differences in my job. Don't like the way they treat me at work. Working for nothing, so I feel. People talking about me, gossiping, treating me like I'm trash. I'll handle you. I'm going to handle you. That's the attitude. That is the American attitude thus far. I'm going to handle you. And I don't care who gets in the way. I don't care who's standing in the way. I don't care who's visible. You will go down as well. That is the attitude now. That has become the norm now, the shooting gallery. You're in the way, you're going to lay down with the rest of them. I don't care. But how is that fair? And I'm not saying that we have nice people out here. There are some dirty ass folks. Dirty bosses, dirty doctors, dirty politicians, mean, rude ass people working at the counter of the business you're trying to take care of. Rude callers calling about this and that. Nasty. People on Facebook, TikTok, even YouTube saying such ugly things about you. Lies. Storytellers. But do we go kill them? Is it right to go kill somebody because you don't like what they're saying about you? Things they've done to you? And there have been some, horrible things done to man and woman and child. But people don't retaliate. Children have been abused, molested, raped, assaulted. Women, men as well. People have been harmed because of their race, their sexual identity, political affiliations? Do you just kill people because you don't identify with them? You don't like what they're saying. You don't like what they're doing. You don't like how they're living. You don't like how they look. You don't like the color of their skin. So you just up one day and decide to go into a store and buy your AR-15, a revolver, a gun, and wreak havoc on the community because you have a problem with a complete stranger. Now, how is that fair? You know that's not right. Ranting and raving all damn day on Facebook, TikTok, comment sections on articles, platforms, because you can. And instead of you trying to live a peaceful, cohesive life, you spend your days just venting and venting and venting and building you a manifesto so people can really just look at you and gawk at you and laugh at your dumb ass because they're saying, look at this creep. He or she don't got nothing better to do than to sit up and write, complain about what's wrong with the world. Well, join the rest of us. A lot of us are bitter, unhappy, mad, want a new job, new house, new car, ain't got no money, don't make enough money. What's your damn problem? What is your damn problem? When I think of the Uvalde shooter, I think of somebody who possibly could have been pushed to the side, not cared for properly, but it's still wrong what he did. The shooter in Buffalo, mad at the world, maybe he had a bad situation, incident with an African-American person or persons, and decided that he didn't like black people, hated black people, went into the grocery store. Still not a good enough reason to kill those people, shoot even at the white people. Still wrong. Subway shooter, same thing. Black man mad at the world, cussing and fussing about white folks, the government, this and that. Still no reason to shoot those people. Same thing with the kid shooting from the balcony. DC, what was your problem? I haven't heard anything else about that. Mad at your girlfriend, mad because they don't want you, broke up with you. So what? Love is cruel. Life is cruel. People are nasty. People do ugly things to you, beat you up, assault you, steal your car, wreck your car, do all kind of crazy things. Do we go out and shoot them, kill them? Break in your house, steal your money, steal your identity. Pass bad checks in your name, use your credit card, steal your credit card, file for credit cards in your name. Do you see the endless thing that man and woman can do to you? Do you kill them? Or do you let the law handle it? Sometimes it may take a while, especially if your identity is stolen. Some people said it takes years to repair your credit from stolen identity. Or do you decide to hunt the person down and find him or her and just blow their brains out? You're mad because somebody don't love you anymore, don't like you, won't date you. Do you lie in wait for him or her? Snuff them out. If I can't have you, nobody will. Is this what we have become? Just a bitter, vengeful society. Lying in wait for the unwilling. Or some people may have done some terrible things. They might need a good busting upside the damn head, but we are not to resort to violence. We're not supposed to. Raping children, raping women. Did he deserve it? Do they deserve death? Some states says yes, we will put you down, put a needle to your arm. But you as a civilian, you are not supposed to handle him or her. Interesting. No matter your opinions pertaining to murdering people, this is unjust and it is cruel. To just snuff out somebody because you decide to cut a cage on a prison bus, take control of the driver, wreck the bus, stab the driver, and go on the run to later kill a family so you could stay undetected. I wondered about how this fugitive was able to cut the fencing on the bus, the barrier. Make me understand. So that means he got on the prison bus with a weapon. So I guess somebody would say, Angie, now you know that's a stupid question to ask where he got the damn weapon from. He got it inside that prison. And we know that they have weapons. We've heard of fights in the prison, jails, makeshift tools used as knives. And that's the sick part of this story. Had a weapon from the prison, carried it on a bus, broke free from shackles, bracelets, anklets, cut a cage, and made his way to the front of the bus to assault the driver, stabbed the driver 2 times, I believe, and then exit the bus. The bus crashed and he goes on the run. And then we have an eyewitness, as you heard in his commentary, she and her son saw the man exiting into the woods, and nobody gave a damn to even ask the lady anything. Why not? Looks like there's some lax behavior in Texas as of late. And this is possibly going on everywhere we live. Texas just happens to be the storyline for this video. But you all are kind of lax out there. All that talk about everything's big in Texas, obviously not. You don't have a big concern for livelihood and civilians' safety. No care about fugitives on the run, going into a school and taking a shooter down, Johnny on the spot. There's no care. Your behavior's lax. Your thought process is lax. Because I think you're looking at the fact that, well, we're in the middle of nowhere. We're in a small town. And no big deal. Nobody's going to come in the schoolhouse. Nobody's going to go on this farm. Nobody's going to go in Jack's house and do anything. It's peaceful here. We ain't got nobody out here. We don't have no crime. But see, that is foolish people's thinking. To think that nothing bad will happen to you. You can't ever think that someone won't break into your house, carjack you, shoot you out in public or private, come into your home, disguise themselves as a decent human to come work on your house or do work, hook up your internet, and in the same breath slash your damn throat or beat you to death. You better wake up. You better be very careful out here. Everybody needs to invest in some type of alarm system on their home, connect it to their cell phone, get a bell camera. Everybody needs to make a way to secure their house. Make sure that all your doors are properly locked, secured, windows as well, patio doors, garage doors. Never leave your garage door unlocked because the damn garage door is down. Because it's going to be that one day that you have the damn garage door open, doing something in there, and all somebody has to do is just walk up the drive, walk into the garage, voila, door locked. I'm inside your house now. Running in and out, patio doors to go inside the house to do something. Get a cup of lemonade, go back out. Well, if I'm on the run, I'm looking for a way in. And just so happened you just went back inside to get you a fresh glass of lemonade. You heard the phone ring. You had to use the restroom. I'm now in your house. You don't even know I'm in there. Surprise. You have company. Windows up, want fresh air. Spring, summertime, fresh breeze. But that's a way for savage to get in. Glass on open doors, patio doors, doors with glass that you can knock out the pane and open a latch. Easy way in. You live how you want to live. It's your choice. But know that there is a beast out there waiting for a way to get into your home, get into your car, get into your garage, get into your attic, your basement, your front door. And he is not going to care what happens once the door closes. And you need to understand that. You are nobody to him or her. And the reasoning and the motives will make no logical sense to anyone sane and woke. Because it is illogical to just harm people for no damn reason. But you need to know that you are a target. And it doesn't matter if you're nice, you're kind, you are sinful. The fact that you are human means anything can happen to you at any given moment. And you need to understand that. That's why you need to be mindful of your children. Talk to your children about human beings not being so human, that they cannot trust others. I don't care who they are and what they look like and how they sound. That sometimes a helping hand can lead to your demise. That you can't be nice to everyone. And yes, we pick and choose who to be nice to, who to help. Stop, aid somebody on the side of the road. They got a flat tire, they need a ride. But you should know that once the door closes, as my aunt once said, all bets are off. And what a horrible way to find out you have made a terrible, terrible mistake by letting a civilian into your house, into your car, by trying to be nice. And God forbid you are crossed by a savage unwillingly, carjacking you, breaking into your car, or breaking into your home and lying in wait. I want to thank you all for joining me. God bless all of you. Stay safe. Mind the children. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution and not the problem. Prayers for Texas. They're in dire need of our prayers. Uvalde. The Justice Department is currently investigating the Uvalde shootings. Chief of Police has been missing in action. And now, evidentiary material has been seized by law officials in the shooter's cell phones and data. When I get more information, I'll bring that content to you. And prayers for the 5 victims. Grandfather and his grandchildren, 4 boys, are now deceased by the hands of a nasty machine who is now deceased himself with a shootout with law officials. When they say there is no rest for the weary, they meant that. Prayers for the community, prayers for our children, and prayers for those children who have to attend school in the fall in Uvalde. They will not be returning to that school, and they're making provisions for other places for the children to attend school. Prayers for the families who had to bury their children. School teacher and husband died within days of each other. Husband had a heart attack. Prayers for the funeral homes that laid to rest these said children, teachers, for free. God bless them. And any donations, I'm sure, will be kindly appreciated, because that is a noble feat to bury so many people for no payment. And as for those who knew of these savages that I've repeated in this live, knew of their intent to harm the general public, family, whomever, you are just as dirty and vile that you didn't speak up and call law officials, that you thought it was a joke, it was cute, it was funny. Because you see, you may one day be on the receiving end of that same type of undue justice. And it wouldn't be funny staring down the barrel of a rifle, gun, AR-15. Why me? I didn't do anything. I didn't hurt you. I didn't say anything to you out of the way. Doesn't matter. You're in the way. Be very careful. You may one day end up like these stories if you don't take heed and learn to have empathy for others. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash Out. Thank you all so much for your time. Have a peaceful weekend, blessed weekend. Please be safe. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you.